Good morning.
Hello. Wow.
This is Phil, CEO of Evernote. I had no idea you were also a fire extinguisher.
Yeah, honorary fire chief, I think. It was great. This is pretty awesome. We definitely need a giant
we were in that.
sliding plastic wall back at Evernote.
Yeah, it's pretty fun, right?
Why have I been making entrances in any other way?
From now on, we'll get you one for your house.
It's crazy.
So Phil likes to say that he is running a 100-year startup. If that's so, you're 7 years in today.
7 years in.
With more than 100 million users.
Yep.
So Phil, what is Evernote in 2014, and how closely does it align with what you started to build?
Pretty closely. You know, we started talking about Evernote as being your external brain really early on, something to make you smarter. And I think we've really sharpened that in the past year. We're starting to realize that, you know, we don't have that much time left. We're 7 years in. We've only got 93 years to go. Like, we're starting to feel the pressure of actually accomplishing something sooner.
So you call it an external brain.
Yeah.
What is it?
It is a way for you to just be more productive. It's a way for a modern, busy person to be able to get through life, to get through their day without just being overloaded with way too much crap, way too many details.
Right, which is pretty much what life feels like more and more in order of magnitude.
Yeah, more and more, and in particular what we realized is we're about work.
Right.
Like last year, we made the decision to really focus on work. So we don't really talk about gardening very much anymore. We don't talk about using Evernote for your hobbies. All of those are totally legitimate use cases, but we realized, look, we've only got 93 years left to make a big impact. What's the biggest impact we can have? And we realized that the biggest impact we can have is to just like have work suck less, like have people be more productive, have meetings be better, and that's what we're doing. So we've refocused everything on that, and it's really paying off.
So having work suck less. It makes me think about a conference that we were at maybe a year ago, and the topic that we were supposed to be talking about was collaborative software and social software. And Phil, you said about Evernote that it was antisocial.
Yeah.
What did you mean?
Yeah. Well, when we started out, we definitely, you know, we launched in 2008, and everyone in 2008 was doing, you know, social. It was like, you know, it was Facebook for dogs. It was like, that was it. It was all about social. And we kind of said, like, Evernote
Facebook for dogs was cool.
Yeah, no, very good. Bowser, I think, or something. We said Evernote doesn't care about your friends. Evernote doesn't care about your friend's dog. We care about you. We care about what's on your mind. We're sort of the anti-social app. And I think that's what was needed back then, because there was so much exhaustion of being overly social. But what we realized more recently is we're using Evernote for work, and to be productive at work, you know, you do sometimes have to talk to people. And so we want
not
Evernote.
As much as we talk to people, mind you, but yeah. Fair.
You know, sometimes you just can't get around it. You got to work with other people, and we said, okay, we need to make that great in Evernote. So the new stuff we've released, all of our augmented intelligence stuff, work chat, context. The idea is to get you to be able to say less and do more with it.
So let's talk about the competitive landscape for a moment. In 2014, everybody is rushing to be the future of software for productivity for work. So you see the legacy players, you see companies like Microsoft with its OneNote, you see companies like Box and Dropbox going into collaborative software, you see startups like Keep. Mm-hmm. How does Evernote differentiate itself?
Well, the same way we always have, just focusing on making something epically great. You know, we launched into the period of the greatest and most intense competition. Like, when we were launching Evernote, you know, when I was out raising money in 2007 and 2008, I had the world's worst VC pitch. Investors would ask us about our competition, and I would say, well, every single computer or phone or PDA or device that's ever come out already has a pretty good free note-taking application on it. So we are launching into infinite competition. And it didn't matter then, and it doesn't matter now, because if you think about what the competition is doing, you're going to do the wrong things. We're just focused on making something great, making something that makes companies feel small again. And if other companies can make great software too, fantastic. The world is better off for it. The more the merrier. But we just want to be great ourselves.
So what gave you the idea that this would be a good idea in the first place in 2007 and 2008? I mean, if everyone was doing it.
Well, back then, people were mostly doing, you know, Facebook for dogs.
Yeah, well, it's true.
So yeah, I think we've been one of the leading forces of kind of this resurgence of productivity actually being cool again. Actually, no one was seeing pitches for productivity software back then. I think we kind of helped
Right, the
recreate
environment
that.
was very consumer focused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, back then there was a huge split between B2B or B2C. Like, you're not seeing that split nearly as much. Like, Evernote is not a B2B or B2C company.
Right.
I don't even understand the whole B2 thing. That's just kind of weird. Like, we're for knowledge workers. We're for busy people.
Right.
People mostly use us to accomplish their life's work,
Right.
to make their life's work as good as possible. We want to make products that have an opinion about how you can do the best work you've ever done. And the functionality that we're launching improves the quality of your work.
Right.
And I don't think anyone else is doing that nearly as well as we are.
So Evernote has raised, what, $300 million so far?
Something like that, yeah. Well, about 200 in primary and about 100 in secondary.
So how do you make money?
The old-fashioned way. We only make money when people pay us for our product.
Right.
We reject all indirect revenue. We have a no-tricks business model. Like, we make money when the end user says, please take some of my money.
So what you're talking about with no tricks is advertising, right?
Well, advertising is a pretty good trick. There's even more devious ones. We just don't believe in any of that stuff. Like, we don't data mine your information. We're not selling it to anyone. Our fundamental belief is we make money when our users say, we love this product, we want to pay for it, or we love something that Evernote makes. And that's a slow start. Like, it takes
Right.
longer to build out because there's no tricks. You can't like pull a lever and be like, oh, all of a sudden, we're going to show more ads or something like that, because we don't show any. It takes longer to get started, to get kind of the flywheel going, but ultimately it aligns interest. It eliminates conflict of interest, and I think it lets us build. It gives us a shot of building a 100-year startup. If we were into revenue tricks,
Right.
how could we possibly think we can sustain that for 100 years?
So in a second I want to talk about the pricing piece of that, but I want to go back to this idea that all of your interests are aligned if you're just simply charging money. So your interests are aligned with your customers, but also your interests are aligned with your developers then, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So there's no conflict of interest with developers, because we're not worried about someone making something so great in Evernote as a developer that it like pulls eyeballs away from Evernote. So we don't care about eyeballs. We make money when people have a great experience, and they pay us more when they have a great experience. And so if a third-party developer makes something great that gives people a good experience, we make more money. So it's a complete alignment of interest. Other companies that have indirect revenue models are kind of constantly at this like love-hate relationship with developers.
Right.
And for us, it's easier. It's just all love.
And what defines the developers that are most successful on your platform?
They just make something great for themselves and for us. Like, we know when a feature is going to work well when we use it at Evernote. Like, when we launched presentation mode 1.0 last year, and we're just launching 2.0 now,
Right.
and it's amazing. It completely just changes the way you think about giving a presentation. It gets rid of this like horrible monstrosity known as PowerPoint.
Right.
And like, I knew that presentation mode was going to be successful because immediately we were all using it internally.
Right.
I didn't force anyone to do it. We don't do that. We were just all using it internally. Whereas other things that we've launched, I've noticed that we haven't been using them internally, and like none of those have been successful. So for us, the biggest test is we're making things that we want to use as
Right.
like modern knowledge workers, and if we see internal traction, it correlates very well with success outside.
So the Evernote workforce is your primary beta group, your knowledge workers.
Yeah, that's really the target audience. Like, we make things that we love, and I think that's critical. I think, like, look, product market fit is kind of a bullshit concept.
Tell me more. I don't see it.
You can't approach it that way. Like, if you're like, okay, what should I build? I'm going to make a startup. Okay, what should I build? Well, let me go and decide what the market needs.
Right.
Like, that doesn't make any sense, because your only competitive advantage is to make something great. If you can't make something great, like, there's no point in trying, because we're in a world of like perfect choice, and so the best experience is going to be the one that wins.
Right.
Nothing else matters anymore. This didn't used to be the case. Even 5 years ago it wasn't the case, but now it is. The world is more of a meritocracy than it's ever been. It's a geek meritocracy. It's the best time to be alive and doing things. But you have to make something great. How are you going to make something great unless you're making it for yourself? How are you even going to know if it's great? So you got to make something for yourself, and then if you've made something epically great for yourself, there's going to be another billion people that love it. and then you'll find the market that fits, and you can tailor the product to make sure that the fit is better for people like you.
Right.
But if you start with trying to find something that fits the market, but that doesn't fit you, it's just not going to be that good.
Right.
The better version of that is going to be made by someone who's actually making it for themselves, and they're going to win. So Evernote employees are our target audience, and as Evernote employees become more and more diverse, we have 11 offices all over the world. As we get more diverse, as the definition of who we are expands, we just make products that are more and more applicable for everyone.
So let's talk about pricing a second, Phil. You announced recently that you're looking at raising the price.
Mm-hmm.
How did you even decide what you should be charging for Evernote?
Well, so we realized, so we never changed our price. We launched with our price of $5 a month.
And how long ago was that?
That was 7 years ago.
Okay.
And so we launched it, and 7 years ago we never changed it. And I realized a couple of years ago that Evernote is the wrong price. And I know it's the wrong price because we picked it at random 7 years ago and we never changed it. So like our chances of getting it right, randomly were very, very, very slim.
Slim.
And it's sort of like, it's surprising in hindsight because it's so against startup culture. Like as a startup, we, and like probably everyone here, we're so into iterating and A/B testing and constant improvement on all of our features.
Right.
But price is something that most companies just don't even think about. And obviously it's a huge lever. But
how many people are paying for it?
Well, we have about, I think, 8 or 9 million premium users, kind of in all the different ways that you can get premium.
Right.
So quite
and
a bit.
What are you seeing in terms of people's rate of adoption? They use it for free for a while.
So the free version of Evernote is meant to be the main version. It's not a loss leader. Our motto was, it's more important that you stay than that you pay.
Right.
So we try to make the experience something that you keep coming back to. We want you to really live your life in Evernote. And because what we find is the longer you use it, the more likely you are to pay for it, and the more likely you are to bring it into your company for Evernote Business, and the more likely you are to buy things from the Evernote market.
Right.
In fact, the money that we make from a user goes up linearly with cohort age.
Right.
So in the first month of using Evernote, only about 0.1% of our users are paying. But after a year, about 5% are paying, and after 2 years, it's like 11%. And our oldest cohorts, the people that have been with us now for like 6 years, they're like 30% paying. So it's more important that you stay than that you pay. Because that rhymes, and like business models that rhyme are just better than business models that don't rhyme. Everyone knows that. And B, because it lets us make this no tricks business model, where we just want to make a great product, we want you into it, we want you using it. If you don't pay, you don't pay, that's fine. But eventually you are going to pay, and you're going to buy stuff, and you're going to get your friends to pay, and it works really well. And so we realized that we don't know what the right price is. We've spent the past few months trying to figure out what the right price is.
Right.
I think it can go up in some countries. It probably needs to go down in some countries. And sometime in 2015, like probably towards the beginning of the year, we'll be making new prices. But we'll announce it way ahead of time, and we'll make sure that people who are buying ahead kind of keep the old price and all that kind of stuff. So we'll be very mindful of our customers with that.
So real quick, what's next for Evernote? What are you excited about?
Well, it's all the augmented intelligence stuff. It's the AI stuff that
Yeah.
I'm super excited about. I think there's 3 ways of thinking about this. When you look at what like Siri is doing, or Google Now, or a bunch of the stuff that we've just launched, like Context and Work Chat. Okay, how do you want to experience being augmented? Let's say you've got 3 choices. Like, what do you want it to feel like? You've got 3 choices. You can either feel like a child, where you're a child, and you've got this like benevolent, all-knowing parent who kind of taps you on the head and does things for you. That's choice A. Choice B is you can feel like an important executive. Like you're the CEO, and you've got this like very loyal assistant, and the assistant does stuff for you.
Right.
Choice C is you're Superman. You do everything yourself, but you have superpowers, and so it all comes easily to you.
Yeah, I'll take that one.
Yeah, that's the one I want too. It turns out I don't want to be a child. I'm actually having a lot more fun as an adult than I ever did as a child.
Yeah.
And I don't actually want like an assistant. I want to be Superman. I want to have superpowers. I want to do stuff and be hyper productive and hyper aware, and I want it to kind of feel like it's coming naturally. And that's what we're building. So all of our AI
that's
stuff
up here,
is about
Phil,
that.
but what's my Evernote going to look like?
Well, over the next couple of weeks, we'll have rolled out the big new features, Work Chat and Context, to everyone. So you should take a look at that. The idea with that, by the way, is whenever you're working on anything, we're going to figure out what do you want to see that'll make you better at what you're doing right now. So if you're writing a report for your board, what else can we show you on the screen that'll help make that report higher quality? And you know what it's not? Like, we're not going to show you things about like page margins and fonts, because you actually don't need to see that crap for your writing.
Right.
So anyone who's like taking up, mental space as you're writing, pretending that you're going to print out something, is just wasting your time.
Right.
So we're not going to show you that stuff. Those are sort of old skeuomorphic ideas. But what can we show you that helps make that writing better? Well, we're going to show you other things that you've written about it. We're going to show you what your coworkers know. We're going to show you news articles that are highly relevant about the thing that you're working on, and then let you, in one click, properly cite and bring them into what you're working on. We're going to improve the quality of your work, not just make it easier for you to work. We're going to make your work better. And that's what I'm most excited about.
That leaves me thinking perhaps that you are Superman.
I have very, very, very lame superpowers.
But they include putting out fires.
Apparently. Actually, they include going around to people and saying, no, seriously, guys, I don't think this is funny anymore. I think we should all leave.
On that note, we should leave. Thank you so much, Phil.
Thank you.